Hey friends, and welcome to today's video. This is a coaching call from my paid community where I'm answering questions from clients on how to build and run a successful marketing agency or coaching or consulting business. And we cover a whole bunch of questions. There's no holds barred here. You can really ask anything on these calls. Everything from how to book more appointments, how to structure offers, mindset questions. It gets quite deep, gets quite emotional. What a story, so much romance. I'm very excited for you to listen to it. This is from Easy Grow, my paid program. If you want more information on that, there's a link in the description. Full transparency, there's a video there that will try and sell it to you. So if you don't want to be sold to and you're not prepared for that, then don't click the link. But either way, have a good day. Let's get into the video. So Aziz says, I hope you're doing good. Thank you, my friend. In Calendly, do I use my main company's domain to send confirmation emails to prospects after they book? Or do I buy a second domain for Calendly confirmation? So Calendly actually sends it from their native email address, so it won't go from your email address. Also, should the client have /buy multiple domains to send booking confirmation emails, follow-up emails, or nurturing emails? Or is only one domain enough? The reason I'm asking is because I want some spam. Well, what software are you using to follow up on people, mate?
So I'll be using Go High Level.
If you're using Go High Level, what's because you must be connecting a software to it, or are you just using Go High Level's native sender?
To be honest, Charlie, like I haven't gotten to this point yet, but I'm like kind of hitting a resistance point, and I kind of feel like giving up because I have no idea how to do service delivery and like follow-up process to my prospects and stuff. That's why I'm asking those kind of questions.
Yeah, that's fine. You're probably better off asking on the service delivery local business coaching calls. Dude, it's been a hot minute since I used High Level, so any advice I give you would probably not make a huge amount of sense. I'm sorry, but I can't help you, my friend.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, when it comes to High Level, I'm not the man you're looking for, I'm afraid. But by all means, pop a question in the group and tag Jimmy Mitchell, and he should be able to help you.
Will do. Thank you.
Cool. Last question. After my personal Facebook account gets restricted from posting ads, should I create a new personal Facebook account, or is there a way to get it unrestricted? Have you been restricted?
It has been. So it was like restricted since 2017.
You ain't going to get it back. You have to create a new one, basically.
Okay, cool.
Don't give up. Hey Charlie, I'm stuck on my Loom system trying to get an LVR and KPI. I'm sure deliverability, follow-up, and lead quality are not the issue. It might be with offer or body copy. Here are the metrics. Here's the copy variance, and here's my testing facility sheet. All right. What niche are you in, Gus?
Med spa niche.
Just go back to doing what you were doing in March, mate.
Yeah, that was back then I sent emails only to the UK, and then I had to switch because there's only so many med spas in the UK. Only like maybe 1,500 or something.
You're telling me the only variable difference between March and April and May is the fact that you're sending to the UK as opposed to USA?
Yeah, I actually tested like the exact same version of copy, etc., between the UK and the USA, and just like it was like half as bad. Like the LVR was like 9%.
I don't see them in the sheet.
Sorry?
Where are the tests in metric form?
I added the testing facility as well. That's like.
But what about actually like in the spreadsheet, the Loom test tracking format? Where's the data?
Oh yeah, was that the first one?
So yeah, the first one you sent is obviously the metric tracking sheet. What I'm trying to understand is like, what dates did you test V1 to the USA?
Oh, like that. Yeah. Wait, let me open it as well.
I'll share my screen.
Yeah, that's probably easier as well.
So this is where you were doing copy one, right?
Yes.
How are you sourcing the UK leads?
UK I sourced through Google Maps and Instagram.
And how are you sourcing them now?
The USA, my lead sourcer did Google Maps as well, and he ran out of them already. So there's also like 2,000 leads. So now I plan on using Yellow Pages. So it's probably a different lead sourcing method again, which screws up the new test as well.
So you've put here deliverability, follow-up, consistency, lead quality are not the issue. No,
I tested the deliverability and that was fine. I just set it up like the EasyGrow Terminator system.
Did you send to friends and family to see?
Yeah. I asked one guy in EasyGrow to help me out and send
okay.
How many emails to that.
How many email accounts have you got?
Just like the full system in EasyGrow, so that's like 20 accounts, I believe.
That's good. How many med spas are in the UK?
Yeah, probably only like 1,500 or something.
How many are you in the US?
US only so far, like using Google Maps, there were like 2,500, I believe. But I believe that there's way more because I think if you Google it, it's like 20,000 at least. So I don't know if Google Maps only shows like that little, or if there's like another method.
I think I know what the problem is. Like, I think it's just the niche, right? Because like you've got to realize like the variable change here is going from UK to USA, right? So basically everyone is prospecting USA med spas at the moment. There's like
That's true.
thousands of agencies in the med spa space, and all of them are cold emailing. So like the fact that you've just gone from like a 16% LVR to like halving that demonstrates that like obviously you're just in a weak market. It's okay, man. Just try the countries. I was saying Canada, Australia, New Zealand, parts of Europe. Like I think trying to get med spa clients in the USA, you're fighting a losing battle, man. Like it's you and I mean I didn't know there was only 20,000 med spas. That is not enough to support the amount of agencies that are in that space.
No.
Dude, it's like ecom was like a year ago.
Yeah, because I can still get clients in the USA, like med spas. Like the bookings that I had, I think from these bookings I closed like maybe 3 or something, 3 people.
So you've got a couple of options, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you want to double your results essentially, right? That's what you're looking to do. You just want to try, like you want to get the LVR to what, like 16%?
Yeah.
So like the easiest way to do that is just send double. Your LVR will stay at like 8 or 9%, but you're going to have double the results. That's what I would do.
Yeah, but then there's the lead problem.
Yeah,
there's not so many leads.
Then you have no total available market, which means it's just not a viable niche.
Like literally, I probably at the beginning when I joined Isgor first, I was also like hesitant to switch niche. And I've been a couple of times as well, but I just don't want to really make the switch because I've been doing it for like the last 7 months.
What's your current monthly revenue?
Like 2,000, 3,000. I work on performance, so.
So what I'd suggest is, okay, so double up, go to source from other countries as well, and for the next 3 to 4 months, go as hard as you can with this. And then by the time you run out of leads, you should be doing sort of 6K a month, 7, 8, 10K a month. When you get there, you can probably just start running ads.
Okay, so just stay in the niche and then eventually run ads. Yeah,
I would exhaust the market to try and get to like 6 figures as quickly as you can, and then take like 30% of that and just start running ads. That's probably the best way to do it.
Okay, and even though that the niche is relatively small, doesn't make sense to run ads at that point?
You'll still be able to run ads. Yeah. I mean that's like it's if you don't want to switch, like that's really the only play you've got, because you're going to run out of leads because the market's tiny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else and their mum is currently in med spas, so you've got that problem as well, and they're all doing cold outbound. But you've even got a pay on performance offer, and your LVR is 8%, and your deliverability is fine. You're being consistent. You've got good volume. So it's like if you took all this effort and put it into a less saturated niche, saturation in quotation marks, because obviously we're in the niche, then you'd be way better off. But the play that I would look at here is just like ramp it up as hard as you can for 3 months, build some cash reserves, and then start investing in ads. That's what I would do.
Okay. And I don't really want to take too much time up, but like my original plan with this niche was not to continue in it like for I would say for even 2 years. I was just wanting to achieve my goal with this niche and then pick a different one. So do you think it will make more sense to make the switch sooner, like with this and all?
Don't switch till you've got 10K a month. See how you feel when you get there.
Okay.
That's why I say to everyone, they're like, oh, I'm in the home improvement niche and I feel like the real estate niche is a better fit. It's like, get 10 grand a month and then switch.
Okay. All right. And like in regards to the sort of testing, because I've been kind of like stuck on what variables to sort of change. Maybe that can drive the metrics up a little bit.
You don't need to test variables. You just need to run the original variables to different countries.
Okay. To different countries.
Are there circumstances in which maintaining a worldview or a paradigm that does not fully correspond with reality could be beneficial? Is there ever a role for delusions or subjective interpretations to play in our success and well-being? Or is an unwavering commitment to truth invariably the cornerstone of progress and fulfillment? Bloody hell, mate. Well, the simple answer is yes, there are circumstances in which maintaining a worldview or paradigm is not fully corresponding with reality could be beneficial. Yes, because that's just called imposter syndrome. Like, let's say, for example, let's say you're morbidly obese and for years you've struggled to lose weight. And then one day you wake up and you say, do you know what? I am a healthy individual. And you delude yourself into thinking that. And then that delusion, like whenever you come to make a decision for your health, you take the one that is healthy because you convince yourself you're a healthy individual even when you're not. So yes, it's beneficial provided that like there's a lapse or a latency of objective correction against the nature of reality, if that makes sense. So like you say something that is technically a lie now, but if it can be true by telling the lie, then is it really out of alignment with reality if time is applied?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like look at Elon Musk. I want to put a human on Mars. Is it possible? Who fucking knows, right? But he's convinced it is, so it may well happen.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we don't know what reality is.
Yeah. That I feel like intensity can just turn into reality.
Yeah, it's just reality fucking like bends. Dude, if you believe something, as long as it is in alignment with the laws of physics and nature, it pretty much can always happen.
Yeah, there is a lot of like we have a large capability to bend reality.
The human will can literally reshape the way the world works. Like you have to give it time. So yeah. Nicholas, question on Loom system. Does it matter that I'm not sending Looms using my voice from female email accounts? Could that be weird? No, because what you do in the Loom is you say, by the way, here's a voice note from the owner of the business, Nicholas. He wanted to make this one for you personally. As you say that, it's not weird.
Well, I mean, what I mean is like I'm recording all of the Looms myself, and then I mean I already have all of my recordings, so do I have to redo them if I don't say that in the Loom? Like
no,
I'm recording.
Say it in the body copy.
Oh, okay.
They introduce the Loom in the copy. There are moments when our minds seem to process in the background, work in the background, processing information, solving problems, and we find ourselves in a somewhat mindless state. How can we determine when it's more beneficial to anchor ourselves in the present moment as opposed to direct focus towards the future? Could you provide some insight on or guidelines for navigating this balance? Yeah, it's pretty simple, man. Like if you know what you need to work on, then you work. If you don't know what you need to work on, then you think. Very simple. Jan says, would you recommend outsourcing certain parts to terminate Looms from the start, like lead sourcing? Is it even possible to source the leads, record Looms and send emails in one day alone? It is possible to do it alone. If you're going to outsource anything first, I would make it the recording of the Looms because that is the hardest to fuck up. Milian, I hope I pronounced that properly. Is in the process of hiring a lead source of a DM sourcing module, came across an interesting profile, which I thought could do appointment booking. Is it a good idea to create a LinkedIn account for here and train here and do the appointment setting? She doesn't have experience in this exact house, but I thought it wouldn't take any risk hiring us as a performance. What do you think? No, I would just stick to your intention. You know what you want, look for what you want. Like if you're doing setting and then you come across someone that could be a good setter, generally speaking, like you didn't plan for that, like it's probably not what you're looking for. Like I get people all the time come to me and say, hey Charlie, can I have a job? I'm like, no. Because like I know exactly, like if I need to hire someone, like I will go and I will look for that person. I tend to not let the universe decide at random who I should hire. Otherwise you end up with suboptimal talent. Osama, best steps to take when your client's account gets restricted from advertising. Mate, honestly, there's nothing you can do, bro. There are no logical steps to solving that thing with Facebook, unfortunately. You just have to create a new account. Honestly, like not even God can help you, my friend. Like Facebook is so useless with account restrictions and stuff. What you need to do is you need to create a new account and a new business manager with no variable affinity to your previous accounts. So when you need to pay with a different card, sign up with a different email address, use a different IP address when you log into Facebook, like make it so that Facebook don't know who you are in any way, right? So you're not using the same phone number to verify your account, you're not putting the same address in, you're not using the same profile pictures, you're not naming the business the same, everything should be different. That's the only way around it. Then it's a whole different beast, whole different being, even a different device sometimes. After exhausting all leads in the niche, keep that niche on the back burner and test another. No, I would go back through the original leads. The advice I gave to that person earlier in the med spa niche was unique to him. Santos says when you pitch the prospect and he is motivated, you interact and try to motivate him more or follow the script. Follow the script. Lou says, I've been reaching out to info product paid program people for my niche. I've been noticing the people I'm talking to on sales calls have had seen success in their main business. So they're teaching it with their product. When I ask questions that dig deep, it's not bringing about the pain I want since the info product they're selling isn't their main biz and they're quite successful already. How should I approach that? Lou, just to clarify, so you're doing sales calls with people who sell info products, but that's their side hustle.
Yeah, like it might be like a secondary program or something. But then again, I've only had a few sales calls with this.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything, mate. I'm not going to give you any advice for now. Do 30, and if it's still a problem, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. If the pattern persists, then hop back on a Monday and we'll discuss it. But I'm convinced, mate. What have you had, like 2 or 3 sales calls where that's happened?
Yeah, about 2 or 3. Yeah.
Just give it some time.
Okay, cool.
Usually the best thing to do is nothing at all, mate. You'll learn that. William, do you still use your vision board, and how important do you think it is to your growth and your beliefs? Does it still help and keep your beliefs strong, increase your faith in the vision? Yes, I do use it. And yes, it does help. It's a lot of much more of a longer term one this time though, like 15, 20 years as opposed to 18 months. But yes, I still use it. Tony says, would you say it's a good idea to try cold calling realtors on the side whilst I'm doing all of my work with med spas? No, do not do that, Tony. Stick in the niche, crack on with it, mate. And do not falter in your faith. Santos says, how do you explain to a prospect that your service is different than the companies comparing you with? Yeah, so the playbook here is you say, look, man, I'll be honest with you, I've got no idea what my competition does. All of my time, effort, and attention and energy is spent on my clients and perfecting my service. If I compare myself to other people, I'm only ever going to meet their standard and be a little bit better than them. I have no interest in being a little bit better than them, only being greater than them. So I have no idea what they do. I can't tell you what makes us different because I don't even look. There's more power in that than saying we're so much better than them. It's like if someone says, Charlie, why should I buy Easy Grow as opposed to like X, Y, and Z's agency growth program? Like, I've got no idea, man. I don't even know who that is. I've never even looked at them. All of my time and energy has gone into improving my product. And I'm not going to improve my product by obsessing over my competition. It's just, you just reverse the fucking like role of the conversation.
The sales rep used that in my call.
When
I joined Easy Grow.
Who used it?
Real.
Who was it?
Word by word.
Yeah. Who was it? Who closed you?
Well, yesterday I saw the recording. I don't remember the name.
That's fine. But it's the truth.
From Chicago.
Yeah, Jacob. But it's the truth. Like, we don't look. So like, if someone's like, how are you different? How are you better than these guys? I don't know. Dude, I haven't looked at those guys. Like, for every minute of the day that I spend looking at them is a minute of the day I spend looking away from our clients. If you can use it the same way, like, oh, your website's not very good, or your social profile's not very good. Dude, like every minute of the day that I spend on that crap is time spent away from building my product and working with clients and getting better at what I do. Gus, need some help with setting priorities. Currently have 3 active clients and 3 to onboard to get things going for. 3 clients. Besides that, my lead source for Looms has to stop temporarily. I need to hire and train an email sender and caller to call my clients' leads. I also want to hit 100. Dude, that's not that much work to do, man. So you've got to onboard 3 clients and continue to maintain 2 client campaigns. Then you need to source some leads, record and send some emails, and call your clients' leads. So like an 8-hour day, it's fine. What would I prioritize was the question. Well, I prioritize the clients, namely the clients that are already active. The order in which you wrote that out is the order in which I would prioritize it. Except I would put the lead caller to call your clients' leads at the top. Although you should be doing that, man. Dude, if you're making like 2-3K a month, you should be doing everything for now. Seriously. Like, I saw the bird about this. When I was making 10 grand a month with my first agency, dude, I did everything. I worked like 12 hours a day, everything. Bo got to like 15, 20 grand a month doing everything. Like, yeah, sure, it's more painful, but you learn way much more. You know, it's just work. Do like 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Do it for like a year. Tony says, should I keep cold calling for my niche? Been dialing for 2-3 weeks. Most of them don't pick up, and most of my meetings come from Looms. Just double down on Looms, mate. Michael says, hi, Charlie. With my focus on outreach, I stopped posting and interacting as much when I was on LinkedIn. What would be the most important activities I should continue with DMs on LinkedIn? I do have automation that takes care of the invitations and inviting my first connects to my podcast. Yeah, so first of all, don't invite them to your podcast. Doesn't matter. It's been more question about posting content and interacting with notifications. First of all, don't interact with anything. I talked to Michael about this, other Michael behind us. Like LinkedIn, Michael, summarize what I told my other Michael, because you're probably, you got the point.
Michael to Michael, this is the Charlie recipe. The Charlie recipe is put out content on YouTube, fuck all social engagement, nothing, no comments, no just posting of whatever you already put out somewhere else, but zero social media. Did I get you correctly, Charlie?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Okay.
So dude, just like all the time that you're spending, like, so when it comes to content, you've got high leverage activities and low leverage activities, right? A high leverage activity is making a good YouTube video. A low leverage activity is arguing with someone in the comments. Not that you're arguing with people, but engagement, right? It's better. You're better off to create content through YouTube, distribute that on LinkedIn. It takes like 15 seconds to post it. I haven't on Facebook and LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, wherever I am. I haven't, and even YouTube, I haven't looked at any comments in about a year.
Yeah, I thought it was a matter of like indirectly like sharing, because my LinkedIn profile has all the information. I thought that by interacting, I was actually indirectly sharing my profile, you know, that was.
You are, but there's better ways to do that at a higher scale with less time input. And at the end of the day, like it's a bit of LinkedIn interaction isn't going to move the needle in your business too much.
Oh, okay.
So I would personally, if I was you, you've got your automation, I would remove the podcast thing. Don't stop doing it by all means, but the connection message should just say, hey, want to connect? Because by putting the podcast, you're already asking them for something, which puts you in a worse position than you would have been when you first connect with them, because now you've ruined the Terminator approach. Because you've essentially already pitched them something, even though it's like a value add, you've still asked them to do something.
I had two different automations going. So one was just the invitation where I don't ask them for anything. And then the second one was to ask first connections about, you know.
So I would keep the invitation one going. And then I would just build DM sorcery, the DM sorcery system and outbound systems. And then just start doing YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, Charlie, on this point, can I quickly ask a follow-up?
Of course.
Yeah. So these days I'm quite a bit into some of the people in the creator economy. There's these guys like Dan Code, Dickie Bush, Justin Welsh. Those guys are basically all about build your audience on Twitter, which means initially is a lot of engagement, you know, like comment on other people, just build like a network of high value individuals so that then you can later on sell low ticket products. I understand that you're against that. This is also not your business model. This is kind of their business model, right? So it's just a completely different line of business. I find it very attractive because ultimately it's like a great way to work very little and just purely be in content creation mode while also selling something that is relatively like low ticket, right? So kind of just my question to you, whether you agree with me here that it's simply just another line of business. It's like, it's perfectly valid. It's just not what you do, not what you recommend, not what you have done.
Yeah, Luke, you put it perfectly. Dude, like I don't do any work anymore and I'm in content creation mode and I'm on high ticket. So it's like, it doesn't make much of a difference. The truth is, man, I don't like low ticket. Simple. I don't like it because it's low leverage. It doesn't give you a good cash position. Usually it means that you've got thousands of customers to deal with as opposed to hundreds. And, yeah, I just don't like it. I personally like, dude, there's many ways to become a millionaire. My favorite is high leverage, high ticket, low volume, right? If for you and your personality and the way that you see the world, you'd rather do it through like high volume, low ticket, fine.
How much do you currently work?
Yes, that's the problem. So like my day at the moment, I'm quite ahead on YouTube. So I try and do like 2 hours of YouTube videos a day. I do 3 team meetings a week. I do a coaching call, obviously this coaching call. Those are my static tasks. Now, actually, I lie. I spend half an hour a day probably on school, answering questions, doing stuff. Another half an hour just talking to Bo, right, whatever. But all in all now, like we're making more money than so this month we'll do about 600K. And I'm now probably working like 3 hours a day. And what I'm doing with my spare time outside of the company is basically thinking on what is next. Bo and I have already thought that through and we know what's next. So this is a temporary lapse, if that makes sense, where we're now going to start. I'm going to explain it in a YouTube video in a month or two. So it'll all become clear. But like I don't have a huge deal to do, but what that means is I have got a huge amount of time to think. Because I'm realizing now that like it's so clear to me. 0 to 10K a month is paradigm and discipline. 10 to 100K a month is discipline and hiring, and 100K a month to $1 million a month is hiring and decisions, and $1 million a month to 10 million a month is time and decisions. And in order to make very, 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 very good decisions, you have to have no work to do. Because the less work you have, the more time you have to think. And now that I'm not doing as much work, my health is drastically improved. I'm sleeping like 9.5 hours a night. I'm spending way more time making better food. And like I'm just overall, I feel better because I'm not like dying at work basically. And so because of that, like I'm not, my head is so far like out of the business, if that makes sense. I can now see it like a chessboard instead of like being a pawn. Takes like that, you're not supposed to behave like that until you're doing like multi-seven figures, because you haven't got, for me, I don't see much of a point in trying to behave like that and trying to make high leverage decisions until you get your business to the point where it's so highly leveraged and automated that you don't have enough work to do. At that point, you transcend the business and then you build other things, which is where I'm at now. So that's sort of the natural succession that I've seen.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Talon. Okay, this one might be too heavy for this call, but I'd appreciate your thoughts on it. Let's have a look. Do you have insights into Buddhist philosophies? I'm interested in exploring. The honest answer to that first question is no, I do not, but I will finish reading it before I give you a full answer. I'm interested in exploring the ways in which they might align and contradict certain ideas related to self-transcendence. Specifically, I'm gripping on concepts such as inherent habit of human beings, perception of universe, and fundamentally living the place, and the belief that relinquishing desires can lead to a state of bliss. Can you elaborate on these concepts and sex? Dude, I have no idea, mate. And also, just do some work. Don't spend too much time thinking and philosophizing when you could be doing cold calls. Don't get me wrong, dude. I love the intellectual shit and I admire it, but it's very easy to get trapped into that stuff. Very easy.
Yeah, that's definitely fair enough.
Yeah, by all means, do. It's wonderful. Keep an interest in it. Keep thinking about it, but don't make it the main thing in your life. For now, like, well, you can if you want to. Who am I to tell you otherwise? But generally speaking, if you like, I mean, I've been reading philosophy, mainly Stoicism for like years. That's been like a really, like, I've been reading psychology and mindset and shit, but it's never been like, it's never been like all encompassing. But I don't think too much about it. Actually, that's a complete lie because I had to for the mindset module. When you have to build something to do with it, then by all means think about it. But it's very easy to overthink the mindset thing as well. Way too easy to overthink the mindset thing, to become too philosophical, to become too intellectual. Like the mindset thing just comes down to like 3 words, just like face the pain. So like you can ask yourself how does releasing desire and Buddhist philosophy and like loving everything, like how does that intersect with self-transcendence? The truth is that it doesn't really matter. That's a hobby. Do you know what I mean? That's just like playing Call of Duty or going to the gym. It's something you do in your spare time. When you're at work, you shouldn't be thinking about that stuff. Personally, for me, that's how I see it.
Yeah, that makes sense. The pain is inevitable, so you just do that.
Let's face the pain, mate.
Yeah.
I've been cold plunging every morning, man, and it's like, it's just like, just do it. I've realized, like I was in the cold plunge this morning, and I've got myself to a point where I can get in, I can just be very calm, very sort of sit there and just relax. And I realized like literally everything you want is on the other side of pain. Simple. Like pain leads to pleasure.
Yeah, and no philosophy will change that.
It can do, because you know the way that you perceive it can be different, but ultimately you can philosophize as much as you want, but just do the work, you know, face the pain.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Santos, the prospect's in a comfortable situation, very relaxed and content. He shows up in the meeting to listen to us, double revenue for years, less jobs without paying for ads. He tells me he wants juicy jobs to bring good profit. This is on screen now. Yeah, so dude, you can. Like, I understand my job is to arouse both negative and positive emotions in this person. How do we manage this neutral? Your job is not to create the emotion. Your job is to amplify the emotion that already exists. Okay? So if there isn't any pain, you can't like 0 times 0, 100 times 0 is 0. So if you think about it like this, if they've got 0 pain and you try and amplify 0 by 1,000, what do you get? 0. Doesn't make a difference. Same with like if they've got 0 ambition and 0 motivation to grow the company, and you try as hard as you want to get that motivation out of them, but if it doesn't already exist, you haven't got any leverage, right? So if they're neutral, that you approach them from a more neutral standpoint. You say, hey man, well, first of all, I can tell you're not emotionally tied to your business, which is fantastic. Make sure you're a great client for us. I'm going to walk you through the numbers, and if it makes sense, we can do business. 1 in every 10 calls, 1 in every 20 calls should be the exception, not the rule. But don't be afraid to loosen your grip on this emotional game. It should be there for 90% of the time, but every now and then you're going to come across someone that it doesn't apply for. And that's the difference between like a good sales rep and a great sales rep. The good reps, they close pretty well because they use the same process every time, but every now and then you've got to step out of that. Michael says, can you elaborate a bit more on the 10 to 100K a month step? What do you mean, Michael? Elaborate on what specifically?
On kind of high level, I mean, I'm sure you've mentioned this before, but if you could just kind of summarize the key things. I'm at like 25, 30K now, and what would you focus on to get to 100K?
Well, first of all, you need to transition to coaching.
I'm almost there.
All right. So, so first of all, product. That's the main thing.
Make the product the
product just fucking insane. Because once the product is insane, all you have to do is increase the volume of appointments. Because like it literally becomes to the point where, like, if you've got a great product and you've got great foundations, i.e., you've got a great product. That's the first thing. Product should be amazing. Just nail that. From the great product, you create the great offer, which has great resonance with the market. Then if you have a large enough market, it's just volume of appointments. That's literally all it is. Like 10 to 30 grand a month is like, oh, I'm sort of like getting my product sorted and like fixing some shit. But then just, it's the way you think, man. Like if you're sending 200 emails a day right now, send 600, send 1,000, start running ads. Actually, don't start running ads. Maybe you could, like create like, people makes me laugh. People are like, I'm going to start DM sourcing. I'm like, how many accounts you create? They're like 1. Like, dude, create 10. Oh, but I haven't got the time to do it. Find the fucking time. Work on Sundays, work till 3 a.m, hire a friend, get them paid on performance. Like people don't think like we are programmed through school to think in this little box. We think small. But this is what I realized about scale. It's input and output game. Like what's the difference between 10 and 100 grand a month? It's just the volume of output. It's the amount of cash you're making. What is the input of cash? It's appointments. What's the input of appointments? Volume. Simple.
A product. Interesting that you mentioned product.
Product's the main thing. Yeah. Product is by far the most important thing because the product creates the offer, which creates the appointments. Yeah. And I'm telling you, dude, if you get to 100K a month with a shit product, your life will be a living hell.
Why?
Because you're going to get disputes, you're going to get chargebacks, you're going to get bad reviews, you're going to get a bad reputation, you're going to feel shitty about it, your sales reps will feel shitty about it, your setters will feel shitty about it. Everything's bad when you've got a bad product. It's the most important thing to scale.
I keep thinking about how much insane time you spend on like whatever 3 weeks to create one mindset module, and I'm a little bit like scared. Well, scared, no, not scared, but like it's like, ugh, I'm in awe of it.
Dude, like
am I the only one who's not hearing?
Having said that, dude, like the first product we had, the first Build Easy Grow isn't. What's that, dude?
I think you cut out for like 20 seconds here. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. So weird.
Yeah, sorry guys. It's just the Wi-Fi Airbnb. I was saying it took me 9. Well, like you have to build the best thing. Easy Grow took me 9 months to build. The original program that you were in took like 2.5 months, 3 months. But like the original program got us like 100K a month, and we could have used it to get to 1 million. But I was like, I want it to be perfect. Like I don't think anyone could build something better than Easy Grow, and I truly mean that. Like I don't think I actually don't like knowing how fucking horrible that was to build. I'm maybe this is a false sense of security, and this is how businesses die. But for me, like, I know what I had to go through for like basically a whole year to build that thing. And the stomach you have to like do that is, I don't know. I'm hoping that any of our competitors sort of look at that. Like you, for example, you look at it and you think, oh, fucking hell, like, what have I got to do here to beat this?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, it's what it takes, man.
Yeah. How much time did you spend on this?
On Easy Grow?
Yeah.
I started designing it. Well, okay. The whole build itself took me about 13 months. But I procrastinated on it for like 3. So I started planning it. Took about a year. So I planned it for about 3 months. I really over planned it, but I think that's why it was so good, especially Acquisition Genesis. And then, yeah, the build of it, like from actually starting the first PDF, took about 9 months. Acquisition Genesis was the big sucker. That took like 4 months to build.
But that is like, because you did already at that time, you had all the systems in place where you did not have to be involved in client acquisition whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I wasn't, dude, I had nothing. I had no, it's like, it's a position I'm in now, right?
Well, so that means that for me, the next step would be not necessarily focus on the product, but just make sure that all my client acquisition is effectively sorted. I have setters who set appointments and closers who close.
Yes.
Once that's in place, then focus on the product.
Provided that the current version of your product does what it says it does. That's what it comes down to. Like, your product, to get to 100K a month, your product doesn't have to be the best thing in the world. It just has to do what you say it can do. It has to, the whole purpose of, like, the way you have to look at it is you've got client acquisition here and you've got product here. The purpose of a product to do with client acquisition, like, how do I phrase this? If you think the purpose of a product is to make the offer as compelling as possible, right? Because that's what acquisition is about. It's about the offer you make to someone. So if the better your product, the better your offer can be. So when I look at my business, the product serves the function of delivering the result, but the primary function it serves to the system of acquisition is how good of an offer can I make here? 20 clients guaranteed, or your money back plus $5,000 wire and 6 months of free training. Like, you can't offer that unless you're fucking certain that your thing is the best it could possibly be and even more. So when I look at acquisition, like, I want to build this into an 8-figure company. We'll probably be there in the next 4 to 5 months, I expect. And that it all rests on the product. If you want to build, you know, the fucking cliche, if you want to build a mansion, the foundations have to be core. The most important thing, especially with coaching companies, like, great products support scale. So if you scale and your product is shitty, the whole business falls apart and breaks. And we've seen this with Tai Lopez, right? You've seen it with other people who, they have these wonderful runs for like a couple of years, and then suddenly just bang, they just fall off because everybody just cottons on. Like, when I say Tai Lopez to everyone here, a little bad taste is left in their mouth. Why? Because his products fucked so many people over, right? And so with scale, even though he had infinite scale, multi 8 figures a year probably in traffic, what he was doing is he was accelerating the rate at which his reputation would be ruined. So the most important thing that sits at the bottom that the whole business is built on is the product. So that's why, like, if you're playing the long-term game like me and Bo are, if you want to be best, it has to be product. It's nothing more important. I don't care what anyone says. Like, yeah, the only thing more important than your product is probably your health. Because if you're not around to see the results of your business, what's the fucking point in building it? So,
solid.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Gonzalo, how's it going? I hope I pronounced that properly. Prospects don't trust me on sales calls. I don't know what to do. My only outreach method is cold calling. I don't know how to take. Well, dude, how many sales calls have you done?
Not enough.
How many is not enough?
6, 7.
Yeah, dude,
sure.
30 and then come back to me. Trust me. This is all in your head, my friend. All of it's in your head. You believe you are a stranger. You believe you are mysterious. You believe that they're not familiar with you, which they're not, to be fair. It's you're selling how you would buy. So if some stranger called you up and said, I want to sell you something, you would judge them and be like, I don't know you. I don't trust you. I don't trust strangers. Probably because when you were 5 years old, your mum said you shouldn't trust strangers. And that belief has cycled and cycled and cycled exponentially over time. And now you're in a position where when you have to be a stranger and get someone to trust you, you can't do it because you fundamentally believe people don't buy from strangers. So you have to root that belief out, because it does exist, trust me. Find it, crush it, and then correct it. Because objectively, people buy from strangers, which is why every single person in this call who has built an agency did it by being a stranger. So your belief is wrong, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But why do like 4 or 5 people out of those few sales calls I've done, the objection they have is that I'm a stranger?
Yeah, because you believe it before the sales calls. If you believe the call should go a certain way, you will take it in that direction. And also, like, how many people are in your market? What's your niche?
Real estate.
Real estate. How many realtors are there? Like, it's like millions, aren't there? Like 3 million or something?
I don't do on the US.
Cool. Let's say that there's 50,000 people in your market, right? It's not rational to say, like, people don't buy from strangers in this market after 5 people have said no, because that's 5 of 50,000. Trust me, do more sales calls, do like 30. And if the same theme continues to persist, then by all means, we can talk about it. But for now, you need to work on the belief that people don't buy from strangers, and also just do more calls, my friend. Trust me.
Okay, thanks, man.
Cool. Tariq, what's going on, bro? Ads are underperforming. I've got my first month guarantee almost covered, I hope. I need cheaper leads for month 2. Is it an idea to hire a media buyer and get it fixed? No, I'd fix it yourself. Honestly, man, like, I'm not service delivery wizard, so I'm not going to try and give you some advice on something I don't know. I would join the service delivery calls with Jimmy and try the community group. Like, post your metrics in there. Like, dude, treat your current service delivery the same way that you treat your outreach, because it is no different. If you're running ads for someone, you've got metrics, you've got systems, you've got bottlenecks, you've got latency, you've got resonance. Everything in acquisition genesis. This is what people don't get about EasyGrow, is everyone says they have a service delivery problem, but like, acquisition genesis explains service delivery just as well as it explains like how to get clients for your agency. So I would start there, but more importantly, I would ask Jimmy, because he knows way more about that than I do. But like, you need to have a spreadsheet with all your metrics and the bottlenecks and, you know, the data and the tests, the scientific testing, all that needs to be applied. Well, what's the bottleneck for your 100K a month plan? Why can't you get there?
Like, mainly our volumes, like, I mean, sales call, because with setters, I have now one setter on LinkedIn, and she like can provide between 18 to 20 SS per month with 2 accounts. The problem is that I've duplicated the account, so I've created another 4 accounts and put another 2 setters. The problem is that for farming that account, it takes so long.
So how many appointments are you booking per month? How many have you booked in May?
68, something like that.
Why so little?
Because I'm sending 100 looms per day plus the 60 DM per day.
So that you've already made the decision, right, to change?
I want to scale it. I want to go to 200 looms per day plus 60 should be 120 DMs per day, something like that.
How much are you charging?
3.8 or 5.8.
So 3.8 or 5.8?
Yeah, we have like two price point.
Why do you have a lower ticket?
You mean the 3.8?
Mm-hmm.
Because the buyer persona which we target in the front end mastermind, it's more than that. It's kind of hard to close.
How much? Why? What are they making?
Because they do 2-3K a month, even less. Italian market, it's like they don't have credit. They're like Europe. It's
so you're currently booking 70 sales calls a month, right?
Yep.
So your show rate's what, 70%? I expect 75%?
No, 90. The conversion rate is very low because the sales rep is closing 10%.
Yeah, so this is what we're going to get to. So 90% of 70, which means you're going to have 63 shows a month. So let's say the average price per customer is 4,500 for you because you're selling a mix of shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your sales conversion rate should be 20%. So if we take 20% of 63, let's have a look here, hang on. So, all right, well first, I mean, dude, you just have to fire the sales rep. Like if they're converting at 10%, how long have they been doing that for?
1 year.
So they've been working for a year.
Yeah, but one time he's closing 25, 35, then 10%. It's kind of, I don't know, he has like this constant angle of up.
The inconsistency is going to really ruin you. I mean, with where you are right now, with like decent efficiency from a sales perspective, like let's say that he's doing like 20% sales conversion rate, with that sales, with that call volume, you're only going to be able to realistically make 50K a month.
Oh, okay.
Right? If you think about it, like 54 grand. So if you do 12 by 4,500. So you just need to double what you're doing, double all your inputs. But you need to fix the sales problem. There's no point booking more appointments if you're converting at 10%. I mean, you could double the appointment flow and then you could double what you're doing, but that still wouldn't get you to 100 grand a month.
Gotcha. But one question, doubling the input, I've tried that, but with DMs, it's very like, I should like, I don't know, make 500 looms per day, something like that, or just turning on ads.
What's your market?
We help coach consultants, and like our market in Italy is get high ticket client if you sell services online. Yeah, we don't have like very specific niche, right? Sorry.
Just start going to the US, bro. It's time. Expand. Like the fundamental constraint and bottleneck of your business is the size of the market you're in.
Yeah.
Like I want to sell, but I can't send any more cold DMs. Why not? Because there's not enough people in my market. So if you want to fix the problem, you fix the market. The only way you fix the market is by getting bigger markets.
Gotcha. But do you think like I'm doing the 30K a month? I mean, like it's.
Well, you just told me that you can't send more DMs or do more outreach.
Yeah, but I can turn on the ads. Should I just scale that?
Why? Why would you rather turn on ads than reach out to a new market and repeat organic systems that are already working? Because like you're one decision away from 100 grand a month, and that decision is to go to the US.
Okay.
Because if you run ads, you'll run into the same problem in 2 months that you have now.
Absolutely. Yeah, probably not in 2, but in 3, 4, something like that. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. What's the better long-term decision for the business?
US. Thank you, man.
Cool. Nothing like a bit of critical thinking on a Monday evening. It's best thing to do.
The 5 weapons.
Yeah, just get to the bottom of it, man. Like, what's the problem? Oh, like, you know, we're not 100 grand a month. Why? Appointment flow. Why? I can't have any more cold accounts. Can't do any more sales. Why? Because we're in Italy and there's not enough people. Why? Because I'm being an idiot. Why? Because of the way I was conditioned when I was a kid. Okay, well, we should probably fix that. You know, it all just comes out. People think that business is some fucking like weird, wacky shit. But it all just comes back to like some stupid thing that we were told when we were younger. Or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was watching that lesson today. I was watching like idiosyncratic thinking. Yeah. And then like I don't remember the lesson of up level, but I was watching this today actually, the 5 why. Amazing.
Yeah, critical thinking, man. Like, you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's like most problems. Yeah, dude. Most problems are not hard to solve. It's the only thing the thing that makes it hard is our emotional attachment to the outcome of not solving them, and that's why if you come to me, I can see it like that. But you've been wrestling for like months. But that's because I'm a third party. Whereas if I came to you, if you had the tools. Like, to be fair, for me, I'm in a luxury position now where, because I'm not too involved in the company, I can do that for myself because I'm not emotionally involved because we've got cash reserves, for example. But yeah, good shit. Also, guys, check this out. I've got this beautiful office space for the next month. Can you guys see this? Very beautiful. Got like I don't know if you can really see around there. it's there, like other side. Currently in Sweden, so very beautiful here. Michael, Bo and I were talking about coming to Austria for a month.
Oh, would love to host you.
Yeah, it's between yeah, see, that's mine. I just invited myself around, basically, mate. But no, we're split between Switzerland and Austria. What's the weather like there in like September?
September, it's perfect. It's like just below 30 degrees. It's still really nice, but not the craziest hot summer. It's awesome.
That's why I like Sweden in June.
Yeah, we'll be in Italy by then, so we're moving.
Fair enough. Right, let's get through these final questions here. I want to make it undeniable to turn my 6% close rate to 20-30%, 32 calls so far. I'm booking in over 3 meetings a day and continuing to practicing with. I recently started listening to my sales calls. Anything you suggest I do? Dude, it's just a matter of time, bro. It's time and volume. Time and volume, honestly. What advice can I give you? Focus as heavily and as hard as you can on the fundamentals. By fundamentals, I mean not judging people, the silence, the conviction, right? Like not prejudging the prospect, for example. Like the things that will really fucking, it's like a sport. You know, like you want to get really good at like basketball. I don't know how to play basketball, but like you ask any athlete, like, how do you become really fucking good? You just drill the basics over and over again. If you master the basics, like everything's really easy. It's like business, for example. Like a basic of business is critical thinking. If you master that, you master a huge component of the way in which you need to operate and make decisions. So yeah, the only piece of advice I'm going to give you, dude, is just focus on the basics. You know, cool. Are you having the balls to ask all the questions? Are you pitching people with every piece of your heart you possibly can? Like, dude, I will change your life and I love you. Buy from it. Yeah, just focus on that. Santos, right, I'm going to get through these next few questions quite quickly. Prospect.
Charlie, you're gone.
Jobs that pay well to make a good living. I sense this is his life, and get him to tell us more about the topic. Hey man, of course, what do you define as a good living? And how does that contrast against like how things are currently going for you? And tell me, what do you mean? Can you just expand on that? What do you mean by that? So you just said, I completely hear you, but I want to make sure I've got the full picture. Would you mind just telling me more? Just like, yeah, like that.
Right.
During the meeting, the prospect reveals some pain points. Sometimes I get confused. I don't know which of these should be used when the script says this problem. Do I always use a pain point I always use a pain point that I can help you with? For example, pain point is the thing that stands in the way of them hitting their goal, primarily. That's the main thing you should focus on, because that, like, it's the obstacle, it's the roadblock that prevents them from achieving the future they want. The past is the past. The present is the most painful thing. Trust me, man. A problem in the present is way more painful than a problem that's happened in the past.
Okay.
If I ask you, like, let's say you had a huge company before and now you've got a small company. Right? It hurts, but the pain is coming from the fact that you can't get clients right now.
Right.
B says, when's the Sales Transcendence book being made? I'm pretty sure it'll be among the self-help goats and you could get someone to buy. I'd buy it. I'm not going to do it for a long time. Not for a long time. But it's a good question. I say long time, like years. With the prospect, I will do it though. I will write it to a book. Probably Actus and Genesis as well. I tried to convince him with rebuttals, but he interrupts me. I interrupt him because he interrupts me, and we're talking over each other. Feels like more of a discussion, not a conversation. When can we conclude that the call must come to an end? Yeah, just keep insisting until they say, like, look, man, I'm not fucking buying this from you. Please fuck off. Like, until they start getting like rude. You know, just minimum 15 to 20 minutes per prospect. That's what I tell my sales team. If I listen to a sales call and they give up on an objection before 15 minutes, I'm like, if you do that again, I'm going to fucking fire you. Do you think I should keep doing what I'm doing? No presentation, no content creation. Not for now, man. Just keep doing what you're doing, dude. Like, you can always create some YouTube videos if you think that would help, but I wouldn't spend too much time on it. A friend who's in the same business as us and is one step ahead of me watched your YouTube and says that you're a unique animal in that you A, pay no attention to presentation, baggy clothing, no background, and B, just speak freely. Everyone else in this space scripts our videos. I'm a unique animal. I'll take that as a compliment. I think it's a compliment. Everyone else scripts their videos, has fancy visuals and editing. We think you're special. This cannot be emulated. Thoughts? Dude, just be yourself. Like that's the only time I'll ever fucking give you that advice, because obviously you know how I feel about that. Dude, like, I don't think you should try to emulate me. It's like people who try to emulate Alex Hormozy. Like everyone who has these scripts and fancy visuals and editing is trying to emulate someone else. It doesn't work. It's very easy to spot someone who wants to be Iman Gaji. It's very easy to spot someone who wants to be Sam Ovens. That was me in the beginning. It's very easy to spot someone who wants to be Hormozy. It's very easy to spot someone who wants to be Becca. Just talk. Hi, I'm Michael, and this has pissed me off today, so I'm going to rant at the camera for 15 minutes. Hope you don't mind the fact that I'm wearing a t-shirt with my baby stick on it, and the fact that you can see like a half-drunk bottle of beer in the background. Oh, you know, there's a limit to these things, right? But just don't do, like, the main thing, the content is value. It's the only thing that matters is value. It doesn't matter like what your background looks like. It doesn't matter like what you're wearing. Obviously wear something, right? The only thing, the words that come out of your mouth, do they help someone get closer towards the goal they want? If the answer to that question is yes, nothing else matters. Truly. Like you see some of Hormozy's videos with his fucking 480p camera and he's in like a shoebox. But some of his videos get like 1 million views because he's saying some real good shit. Often the prospect gets the expertise statement part without knowing I bring clients, without having any idea of what service I offer. When it comes to the expertise statement, I clearly mentioned that I get the clients from marketing.
Charlie, you're gone again.
Pitch, and they think that I'm a personal company trying to give information or referrals. How many times has that happened?
Well, I don't have an exact number, but I would say, well, no, don't want to give any number, but maybe 25%.
You just say, oh, I completely understand. Where did you get that idea from? Oh, you know, in your marketing, it said it's commission referral. You say, oh, that makes complete sense. I'm really grateful for the feedback. Obviously, that's not exactly how we work. And the last thing I want to do is set your expectations in the wrong way. Like, that's not a good thing at all. But regardless, we can still solve the problem for you. So does it really matter? It's like,
that is what I wanted to say, but I didn't know how to articulate it.
Oh, dude, I completely understand. And I'll be honest with you, my friend, like I've actually ran the stats here, like 25% of people, 50% of people usually think that's the case. Unfortunately, it's not, because I'm not your guardian angel. I wish I was, but if we can still solve the problem for you and we can still get you to 50 grand a month, what's the difference? The main thing is at the end, you loop that goal in, because then after that sentence, their mind is no longer on the misaligned expectation, but it's gone straight back towards their goal. It's a very powerful thing to do with your language. So if in the last part of the sentence you loop back towards their goal and at any point in sales call, it realigns their brain and their consciousness with the thing they want.
Yeah, the confidence looping thing.
Yeah,
I saw the video last week.
Oh, dude, I want to think about it. Of course you want to think about it, my friend. Like, everyone wants to always think about it, but there's one thing you never need to think about, and that's exactly what you want. You want 50 grand a month, right? Exactly. How long have you thought about that for? Oh, I did like 3 years. Well, how about we take some fucking action on that 3 years of thought then? Just whoop, just straight back in. You have to welcome it, dude. Every objection has to be like a fucking like long lost family member, someone that you want to see.
I see.
Product expresses from the beginning this desire for clientele you cannot guarantee. That's what you offer. I don't know if I can continue as curing gapping once separation with the wrong service in order to avoid a situation. Should I confess from the beginning? So he's basically saying that he wants more than you can give.
No, he wants something different.
Like what?
Like you can when you remodel houses, you can do like big houses or just normal ones. Each of them are good, but the more expensive ones are like less in the market because it's just more expensive. So he's happy with both of them. he said that to me in the end of the call, but I don't know if at the beginning I should have asked this question. Hey, I can bring you this, no, that.
Yeah, so you put it to him, you say, look, just so we're getting off on the right foot and I'm being completely honest with you, I cannot give you X. I can give you Y. Is that still worth having a conversation over? Like, I understand you want these huge, big deals worth tens of thousands. Unfortunately, the method that I use doesn't attract those sorts of people. What I can give you is these sorts of people and give you quite a high volume of them. Is that still worth talking about?
Yeah.
Then he decides. You should never ever make the decision because you don't know what he fucking wants. You don't know what anyone wants off one sentence. Always put it back to them. Where in Sweden will you visit? I'm in Stockholm. I won't probably visit anywhere else. I've gone 9 months without getting a client. It seems impossible. I've gone through the mindset modules. I'm currently running tests with the Loom system. Also starting LinkedIn outreach. I know the reason I haven't signed clients is or booked in the appointments because I've switched niches too many times and not created solid systems for outreach. I know that as long as I stay consistent building systems and know your relationships, it'll all work out in the end. But I feel like appointment booking and signing clients is impossible. Any advice? Well, first of all, I hear you, mate, but like you said, dude, if you just consistently switch niches and make emotional decisions, you're never going to get clients. So what you need to do is this is an identity problem. You need to fix this from a self perspective. You say you've been through the mindset module, but then if you've truly listened to the mindset module, you know that statements like, I feel like it's impossible, are really fucking dangerous. Because now you have no choice but to behave in alignment with that belief. You rounded that off by saying, and by the way, I'm not attacking you here, I want the best for you, truly. But I feel like booking an appointment and closing a client is impossible. Dude, no amount of work you can do will you can work 10 hours a day for 100 years. But if you fundamentally believe that booking an appointment is impossible, you'll never book one. Because you will always sabotage any effort you have. So you have to approach this from an identity thing. My name's Philip and I am a client acquisition demon. My name's Philip and I'm so good at client acquisition, it makes people cry. My name's Philip and I own this market. Clients are easy to obtain. Appointments are so easy to book. And I actually find it difficult to comprehend that appointment booking is hard. It's so easy. You have to just repeat shit like that to yourself over and over again for a couple of weeks. And then your behaviors will start aligning. That's all there is to it. Trust me.
Thanks, Charlie.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I'll just go through the mindset module once again. See if that helps.
Mindset module. You've been through the mindset module already. You just need to convince yourself that it's easy to book appointments.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, why do you think it's impossible? Let's get to the bottom of it.
Well, probably because I've been sending about I'd say 50,000 outreaches in total now, and it's been 9 months without me booking a single appointment.
What niches have you been in?
I've been in e-com, the gym niche, and the chiropractor niche. That's one. That's the one which I'm currently in.
Let's do a little exercise here. Everybody on this coaching call, can everybody who's ever booked an appointment, one appointment, can you just put a thumbs up in the chat or any message in the chat, just like a Y or yes. If you've ever booked one single appointment, just one, right? So here we have concrete evidence from people live time that appointment booking is possible.
Yeah.
What you've done is you've convinced yourself that the problem is with you.
Yeah.
Because objectively, you know that appointment booking isn't impossible. But you've convinced yourself by I don't know if it's victim mentality, I don't know how it's happened, but you've convinced yourself that you are the problem, right? So you really, really need to work on that.
Yeah.
Like you need to start looking at yourself. I mean, guys, we all know Philip, right? We all know he's a fucking demon at appointment booking. Put yes in the chat if Philip can book appointments. Use your paradigms, right? He can, right? Yeah, come on. Exactly. So you get my point. There you go. But that's how you need to start thinking.
Yeah.
You need to start looking at yourself as someone that finds client acquisition easy. And right now you don't, because you fucking destroyed your self-identity to this person. You're like, oh my, I'm Philip and I can't book appointments. Oh my God. But dude, everybody in this program right now I'd never signed a client before, and they all had the same problem. I had the same problem, dude. Like, you know, when I started Imperium, I was like, dude, this market is saturated, fuck. And then I caught that belief. I was like, I need to just tell myself it's not. So I want you to actually do this. I want you to go ahead, open up a Google Doc. Have you been through the Outreach Epiphany? Do you remember that module?
With which module did you say?
All right. Let me send you something. Because we can't have this. It will not wash. Right. I want you to go through. I'm going to send you. I want you to do this. It's the old program. It is in the Acquisition Genesis, but in a different form. I'm going to go through that. Right. I want you to follow the instructions on there. I want you to list out every belief you currently have about acquisition, everything. And then I want you to DM it to me on school. So basically just do that module, do all the action items, and then send it to me on school. Okay. I'm going to hold you accountable to do it. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Charlie.
You have to start with the belief, all right?
Yeah. Will do.
We have no choice but to behave in accordance with what we believe to be true. So if you believe it's impossible to book appointments, it will always be impossible.
That's true. That's true. Thank you, Charlie.
Good. I've had this problem recently with gaining weight, with bulking. I've always thought it's hard to bulk. Like literally, I can't believe, dude, I've been fucking like teaching mindset for like best part of like 3 years now properly. And I've been like sat on this fucking like this specific weight category. Like, I find it so hard to gain weight. It's so hard to bulk. I can't. And then I was like, I'm being an absolute idiot here. Like, what would I say to someone if they came on a coaching call? I'd eat them alive and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like beliefs. So now I've corrected it and I'm getting bigger. People are pitching with pitch decks I see in sales audits. In which situations is correct? I mean, you can pitch with pitch decks or you can pitch with no pitch deck. It is whatever feels most comfortable to you. I personally don't use them, but if you feel like you need them, it's fine. Whatever you feel allows you to convey more conviction will be the right thing to do.
The thing is that pitch decks, well, I was thinking about it because with pitch decks, I get more chances to actually show the results that I've had for my clients or the work that I do. And it's not just a person talking about service and you being the prospect just listening and not seeing anything.
That's not a pitch deck, that's case study slides. Very different.
No, but not just case studies. Like in the pitch deck I can put photos about the work that I do and link it directly to the benefit that it has to them, I imagine. That's
fine. If it's very visual and it moves quickly, that's fine. But dude, I can't. Who here has been? I mean, let's get some yeses in the chat again. Who here has been pitched by a pitch deck and you just switch off? Like, you know, you're just there, and then like, you know, 2 minutes in, your brain's just like, you just switched off. Nobody's putting yes in the chat, so now this is awkward. It obviously depends on the pitch deck, but it's the thing. Most people who build pitch decks, they're just fucking boring. You know?
Yeah.
They're just like, yes, this is like us, and then a bit about the company, and before you know.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that though.
Oh, in that case,
talking about just the end of the call where you pitch your service, like after the expertise statement, just like 2 minutes pitch deck.
Yeah, you can do. I prefer verbally, but that's because I've done loads more sales calls and I can paint the picture for them. So if you feel like you need the help, then by all means, give it a go. Yeah, day, mate, test it. 30 calls without, 30 calls with, see what's better.
All right.
How can I balance my responsibilities as a US Marine and entrepreneurship? Considering my long work shifts and limited free time, I dedicate at least 2 hours each day to my business whilst maximizing every minute on weekends. How do I maximize time and effort? All right, well, obviously focus is the answer, like minimal distractions. Like focus is the absence of distraction. So just remove all distractions whilst you're working. And then the main thing, dude, is just focus on the thing that moves the needle most. Isolate the core activity that moves the needle in the business, which will probably be cold calling, I would expect, and just do that. Truth be told, if you isolate like the 1 or 2 core activities and then you just focus on them relentlessly for a year, you're unstoppable. It's like what I do with EasyGrow. I isolate it. It's like, what's the main thing for me right now? Building a sick product. All right, I'm just going to do all that. I'm going to do that and nothing else for a year. Lock myself in a room. I think I went outside for like once a week, which is not healthy. I would not recommend doing that, by the way. Yeah. Gabriel, I'm currently doing service delivery for my clients. I have anywhere between 10 to 20 clients a month. My service interim management failure ticket, Bo told me to raise the prices. My question is, should I outsource service delivery now to a acquisition or keep doing it myself? Dude, if it takes you 3 hours a day to do all that acquisition, that service delivery, I wouldn't. I'd just keep doing it for now. Like I said, you can get to like 20 grand a month doing everything yourself. Michael says, prospects on the phone indicate strong interest, and then goes, well, send me the T&Cs and payment link, and I haven't responded in 2 weeks before we follow up with the team. How would you respond to this? I'd say, I completely understand your request, but that's not how we do business. You know, what that tells me is that you're not ready to move forward right now, which means that you don't necessarily believe this is going to work for you. And the likelihood of that changing in the next 1 or 2 weeks,